Here's another shocking statistic for you. A study by beauty brand Dove revealing that 70% of women globally do not feel represented by everyday images. Furthermore, 67% of women are now calling on brands to step up and start taking responsibility for the imagery that they use. So Dove has taken all of this to heart and have taken some action. Partnering with Getty Images and an organization called Girl Gaze, the brand created a project dubbed #ShowUs, the world's largest stock photo library created by women and non-binary individuals to shatter beauty stereotypes by showing women as they are. It's a fascinating subject. Joining us, Belele Majadu, Unilever Personal Care Senior Public Relations Manager for Africa, along with Olivia Mortimer, a local photographer whose work features prominently in the project, and spectacular work it is. So, Spilele, let me start with you. Dove revealing, as we've just mentioned, 70% of women globally do not feel represented by everyday images. So what do we mean by everyday images? And perhaps more importantly, what's the problem?
What we mean by everyday images is that it's images that we see each and every day. It's images that we see on billboards, in advertising, in magazines. So it's images that are used by brands to actually portray brand campaigns. And what's the problem is the fact that women are not truly represented as who they are. There is this unhealthy stereotype, unrealistic, that has been put out there for women to aspire to. And the problem is that women actually don't feel like they're represented. And that causes anxiety. And when anxiety is caused, it means that they don't feel fulfilled as women.
Olivia, what's your understanding then of the unhealthy stereotype that Spilele has just pointed out to?
I just think it creates such a detrimental cycle for women, especially since if you're bombarded by this imagery every day, there's obviously going to be comparison. You're going to compare yourself to every image. So I think what happens is low self-esteem, women aren't going to feel like they're good enough, like you said. So I think this campaign is good for that.
Do all brands perpetuate this, Belele?
Well, I think more than ever now, brands are trying to actually change the narrative that they put out there.
Who's forcing them to change the narrative?
It's the people.
Yeah.
The people have the bigger voice, especially women right now. More than ever, they have a powerful voice. And because of social media as well, women are able to actually be able to speak up. And brands are now forced to actually listen because the voice is even bigger.
Olivia, before we talk about the work that you've done, the survey goes on to say 82%, 8 in 10, South African women wish media and advertisers did a better job of portraying women of diverse appearance, including age, race, shape and size. As a photographer, how do you understand that?
I think basically the majority of women that are represented are slim, white. They don't have any pores or wrinkles. So I think as a photographer and anyone in the media, we should try and change that because no one looks like that. Maybe for like a few years in your life, but people age. Not everyone has the same body type.
Isn't the counter-argument, though, that perfection sells when it comes to cosmetics and fashion and beauty products, and therefore it's simply a financial imperative that is driving this? This has been perpetuated over the years.
Well, I think that's what Dove and Getty and Girl Gaze are trying to show is that all these women represented in this campaign are perfect, they are beautiful. That'll drive more women to buy a product if they see themselves represented in that campaign. They won't feel like, oh, this will make me more beautiful, but they'll think this will add to my beauty I already have.
So it reinforces the attributes that you've got, in other words. So how did the campaign come about then? What was the thinking behind it?
So the thinking about is representing women as who they are, and women can't be what they can't see. The campaign is a partnership with Getty Images and Girl Gaze to create this bank of imagery that the industry can be able to use as well as everyday people.
This is a global campaign.
It's a global campaign, and it's one of the monuments or another step for Dove to actually really shatter the unrealistic stereotypes around beauty.
So we have a South African participant, and here she sits. So Olivia, what did you do? I mean, how did you come into the project, and what have you photographed?
Well, Girl Gaze contacted me because I'm part of the Girl Gaze network, so they make sure to get jobs for all women all around the world. And they just asked me very secretively, can you send some photos through? And through that kind of email exchange, I found out that the clients at Dove and Getty liked my photos and they wanted me to carry on to take photos.
So what did you do for the campaign then?
I shot my friend Al Rose. She's a transgender activist. I just went to her and I asked her, how would you want to be represented? because I'm just there to take photos. I want her to feel comfortable and represented in a way.
And what was the answer she gave?
She just said to be represented as a normal, everyday woman. Just because she's transgender doesn't mean she's any different than anyone else.
So as someone who works through a lens, how did you then interpret that in order to meet the brief that that Dove had put out?
Well, it was nerve-wracking. I think that's when it. I think that's when it set in. That
a little bit of pressure, yeah.
It's a little bit of pressure, yeah. It's a big deal, but I think I just try to remember that I was chosen because of my photography. So I just try to keep Elle as comfortable as possible. With every shot I took, I asked her to come and look at the photo and see if she was happy with how she was represented and how the pose looked. And she chose her outfits to choose in each shoot, and we just try to have fun that day, basically, and not get the nerves to get to it.
Creative person, you're a photographer, so if I ask you this question, you'll say no. I would say to you, are you really happy with what you shot? You'll say yes, but, okay, because I know what people are like in your particular industry. Spilele, here's where I become cynical, okay? Dove is known the world over for pushing the envelope as far as this type of advertising philosophy is concerned. You'd agree with me on that?
Yes, definitely.
But I'm going to put to you that as good as it is, as well-intentioned as it is, you're not going to make any difference at all. That the stereotype will remain.
Well, we aim to change the stereotype, and it's not a once-off campaign. It's something that is supposed to continue forever, and the bank is something that we are going to be growing each and every year. So it's not something that's once-off and then we leave it. It's a continuous partnership with Getty Images and Girl Gaze.
So what's phase 2?
Phase 2 is for everybody to get involved. So every photographer can have the opportunity to actually contribute to this bank of imagery to truly represent women, non-binary individuals, and women identifying individuals to also form part of it. Everyday consumer can also be part of this campaign, where they can go to dove.com/show us and actually also post their imagery on the bank. So that is something that we are trying to make a difference and also to shatter the beauty stereotypes that are out there.
Thank you both for joining me.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Coming up on the program, how South Africa's biggest motoring platform is expanding its reach to give consumers a whole lot more.